Okay, hello everyone. I'm gonna get started in a minute. Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for coming to this session on how to succeed at an American university. I ask that everyone please stay muted for the duration of the presentation. And at the end, you will have an opportunity to unmute yourself and ask questions. This presentation is being recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you don't feel comfortable being on camera when asking a question, feel free to leave your camera off, or you can also type a question into the chat box and I will answer those questions in the chat at the end of the presentation as well. So I want to first welcome you all again to UC and to the United States. If you are here already, I know not everyone has arrived yet, but we are so happy that you're here and that you chose UC as the place to further your education. Our office at UC International recognizes what a huge step it is to pursue education in a different country, and we truly admire the bravery of our international students who come here. We hope that you all feel welcomed, and please know that we are here to support you in any way possible throughout your time here. So my name is Kelly Plazabat, and I am a program coordinator in the UC International Services Office. Our student services and support team provides social, cultural, and educational activities and programs that serve and connect our international student population with each other, with American students, and with the UC and Cincinnati communities. I will also be serving as an academic liaison for international students, and I'll go into more details in a couple of slides about what exactly that means and what type of support I can offer you. So a little about me. I am a two-time graduate of the University of Dayton here in Ohio. Dayton is about an hour north of Cincinnati, but I grew up in the Chicago area and I lived there until I came to Ohio for college. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in communication in 2015 and my master's degree in college student personnel in 2019. Previously, I've worked as an education abroad advisor at Kansas State University, and during graduate school, I worked as a residence coordinator for a learning living community of international, exchange, and domestic students all living together in one of the residence halls. Before going to graduate school, I spent about 7 months teaching English as a foreign language at a university in Thailand. A fun fact is that I've traveled to around 35 different countries throughout North America, Europe, and Asia. So I love to travel and I love learning about different cultures. So that's an introduction of myself. Today's session is also going to include an introduction of my role as an academic support liaison and the type of support that I can offer you. I'm going to give an overview of US academic culture and some tips to navigate the differences that you might find in the US higher education system versus the academic settings that you're familiar with. Next, I'll talk about some of the academic campus resources we have here at UC to support you, and some other resources as well that aren't directly related to academics, but are resources to support you in other ways that could be inadvertently affecting how you're doing in the classroom. Then I'll talk a little about some of the events our office has coming up and some other programs and workshops that you can expect to be offered during this semester. There will also be some time at the end for me to answer any questions that you all might have. So I want to kind of preface this by saying that I know a lot of you might have various priorities for your time here at UC. Some of you may be here studying in the US and at UC for the CPT and OPT opportunities or the research opportunities. Some of you may be more interested in learning about cultural aspects of living in the US, meeting American friends, and participating in American cultural events. This presentation is not going to cover any information about CPT, and I'm not going to be talking about US college culture in kind of a broad sense. This presentation is going to focus on something that you all have in common and that you'll all be doing during your time here at UC, which is taking classes and the academic piece of why you're here. So these are some of the things that I can do as the academic support liaison from UC International. I can give you tips for adapting to a new learning environment. When I was in college, I studied abroad in Italy for a semester. And like I said, I used to teach English at a university in Thailand. So I've also experienced needing to adapt to a different type of education system. This is a photo here of me with some of my students in Thailand. I can also connect you to various campus resources at UC, and I can provide space for you to voice your academic concerns. So if you have an issue or any kind of problem with an instructor, you can email me for advice. If you're having trouble communicating with your professor or you just need advice on how to approach a conversation with them, I can assist with that. And I'm here to support your overall personal, academic, and professional growth. So some objectives for this presentation are for you to become familiar with who I am and what my role at UC involves. For you to be able to identify key strategies for being successful at a US university. And this is a space for me to share UC resources with you that are available to support you academically and personally. So now I'm going to give an overview of US classroom culture. I'm going to talk about what a syllabus is and what type of information you can find in a syllabus. I'll also talk about what you can expect in terms of the US classroom environment, relationships between professors and students and what that looks like. And then I'll touch a little bit on academic integrity and plagiarism. So the syllabus is a document that you will receive in every class on the first day of class, or sometimes professors might email it to you in advance. If they do email it to you, make sure to look over it, but your professor will go over it thoroughly with the class on the first day. The syllabus includes things like the instructor's contact information, where their office is located, what their office hours are, which is when they'll be in their office and available for you to come drop in and chat with them. It will also include their email address and possibly other methods of preferred communication. The syllabus will also include a description of the course, what will be covered throughout the semester in that course, and learning objectives, which is what is intended for you to learn and take away from that course. The syllabus will also include a schedule of readings and assignments so you can stay on track or plan ahead, as well as important dates, any deadlines for assignments, exam days, presentation days, or anything like that will be covered in the syllabus. It will also include any policies specific to that class. So it will include how grading will be conducted, what the attendance policy is. Sometimes professors might allow you to miss one or maybe two classes, and then any more than that, you'll be penalized for additional classes you miss. So whatever their attendance policy is, that will be laid out in the syllabus. It will also include the professor's policy on late assignments and whether late assignments will even be accepted. And it will include some information on academic misconduct and the consequences for not abiding by those policies. In the US classroom, these are some of the preferred teaching methods. Some professors might have classes that are largely lecture style, where the professor is at the front of the class, giving you information, usually with a PowerPoint, and expecting you to take notes on what they're saying. Most professors will also include or incorporate small and large group discussions, and you are expected to participate in discussion. I know that can feel really unnatural and scary for a lot of new international students who come from academic cultures where you're just supposed to kind of absorb information from teachers and not really voice your own thoughts in the classroom. But in US academic culture, it is highly encouraged for you to speak up in class and to voice your own thoughts on the topic you're learning about. A lot of times professors will even give grades for participation. So if you don't speak up in class, that can actually negatively affect your overall grade in that class. Another teaching method professors will incorporate is application of theory. This can be in the form of case studies where you learn about something and then have an example provided of a situation where you have to arrive at a conclusion based on what you learned. In US higher education, there's also a lot of group work and group projects. So you will be expected to meet and work with your peers, both inside the class during the normal class time, as well as outside of class. So you'll be expected to find times to meet with your peers to work on assignments or projects together. Professors also want to see you able to apply what you learn in the classroom to the professional opportunities that you engage in, whether that's through internships or co-ops, on campus jobs, etc. So these are some of the expectations of you as a student. Your role is to listen in class, take notes on what is being said, and to complete readings. You're also expected to think critically about content. You're encouraged to have your own opinions and to express those opinions and perspectives in class. In the US, it's a lot more acceptable to even challenge your professors if you don't agree with them. And again, that can seem really unnatural, but they're not seen as kind of the be-all, end-all holders of knowledge like professors are in some other cultures. Lastly, your role is to demonstrate understanding of material through discussion, through being prepared for quizzes, and through answering questions if a professor calls on you during class. So this slide demonstrates how you may be evaluated in class and what factors could all contribute to your overall grade in a class. I used to work as a study abroad advisor, and I would advise mostly American students who were going to study abroad in other countries. And the biggest piece of feedback I would always get from students when I would ask how they were adapting to the academics in their host country, particularly this is feedback I would get from students who were studying in Europe, was that they weren't expecting their entire class grade to be based on one final exam or maybe two exams, a midterm and a final. So my students weren't used to knowing what their grade was throughout, or weren't used to not knowing what their grade was throughout the semester with various grades inputted for a lot of different things. And they weren't used to their grade being based on one or maybe two factors. So here in the United States, these are all things that you could be graded and evaluated on throughout the semester. You could be graded on attendance. So again, make sure you're actually going to class. I know in a lot of other cultures, it could be more self-study. And as long as you show up to take the exam at the end of a term, you don't necessarily need to go to every class. In the US, that's not the case. You are expected to be in class. I've already talked about class participation and group projects. Those are also things that you will receive grades for. Canvas discussion. So Canvas is an online tool for faculty to upload course content and accept assignments. Students can submit their work via the platform as well and collaborate with instructors and their peers within Canvas. So sometimes you'll be expected to participate in online discussion boards within Canvas, and that's also something that you will be receiving a grade on. Also written exams, oral exams, quizzes, and papers. These are all things that go into your overall grade, and all of these could be equally weighted in a class. You'll be able to find the breakdown of what percentage of your grade each of these items will account for in the syllabus. So some of you might be coming from academic settings where the student-professor relationship is a lot more formal, or some of you might be coming from academic settings where it's maybe less formal, or maybe a combination of both, where it's more formal in some ways and then less formal in others. For example, when I was teaching English in Thailand, my students were much more formal in the way that they would address me in person, and the university was more formal in that students had a certain uniform that they wore every day, as you can see here in another photo of me with my students in Thailand. Or instead of emailing me, this is how it was kind of less formal in a way. Instead of emailing me, students would often reach out to me via Facebook message to let me know that they weren't going to be in class that day. Or they would ask me to hang out with them outside of class and just like grab food or go to a workout class or just hang out together. And that was very normal in Thai culture. That's less normal in US culture to ask your professor to hang out or in a non-academic setting. So the relationship between professors and students in the US is basically regarded as a business relationship based on academic and professional mentorship rather than a familial relationship. In the US, email is the best method to communicate with your professors. When you email a professor or anyone, always start by addressing it to them and letting them know who you are. Also make sure that you're regularly checking your email, as that is how people at the university are going to contact you with important information. If you're unsure how to address your teacher, in general, start by calling them professor, unless they ask you to call them by another title or they sign their emails with a different title in front of their name. Some professors might prefer that you call them by their first name, but don't do that unless they tell you to. The classroom dress code in the US is very informal. It's not uncommon for students to wear sweatpants or t-shirts to class. I know that's also something that can be very different compared to some other cultures. So you should wear whatever you feel most comfortable wearing to class. Professors schedule weekly office hours, and it's a good idea to introduce yourself early in the term so that you'll feel more comfortable if you need to go and talk about a problem with your coursework or a question you have about a class with them during their office hour. You should use the office hours to ask questions, discuss coursework, and request assistance before you fall behind. So don't wait until you're failing a class or you're doing poorly to go and have a conversation with them. Make sure that you seek help as soon as you start falling behind or as soon as you have a question. Office hours are also important just to build that relationship with a professor. So if you want to later have them write you a letter of recommendation for grad school or for a job, it's really important for them to know who you are and for you to have that kind of relationship where you can ask them for that letter of recommendation. If you want to have a longer conversation with a professor about academic goals or professional mentorship, then it's best to schedule a separate appointment with them outside of their office hours. When you talk to or email your professor, be direct and to the point. Keep the conversation focused on class questions or problems. It is also common in the US for there to be teaching assistants or TAs in the classroom that assist the professor, or in some cases, they may even be the ones completely teaching the class. So if you have a teacher that looks like they could be about your age, it is likely a graduate student TA that is helping with the class. It is also important to stay in touch with your academic advisor. Every student at the university is assigned an academic advisor. Most of you have probably already either had a meeting with them or have communicated with them in some form. They are the ones who will work with you to navigate your college experience, make sure that you are staying on track for degree completion. They'll discuss your course requirements with you and make sure that you're planning out your course schedule appropriately. They also are another resource to advocate for you and connect you with campus resources. So if you're having any type of academic problem, they are the best people to talk to. You can schedule an appointment with your academic advisor via My Bearcat Network, or you can email them directly. If you don't know who your academic advisor is, you can find that within My Bearcat Network, or I think it's also in IBG or Catalyst as well. So most accounts, UC accounts that you log into, you should be able to find who your academic advisor is and their contact information. So to touch on academic integrity and plagiarism, plagiarism is the practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as your own. These are all the different ways that UC defines plagiarism. So submitting another's published or unpublished work as one's own without crediting them, submitting as one's own original work without reference to the source, submitting an assignment as one's original work produced through unacknowledged collaboration with others, or submitting one's own previously written work without modification and instructor permission. So plagiarism can kind of be a variety of things. And I know that this is a concept that might be very unfamiliar to a lot of you. Plagiarism is not a universal concept or something that is seen as wrong in some other cultures, but in US higher education, it is not allowed and there can be really strict consequences for it. The Academic Writing Center or Olga Hart at UC Libraries can give really good advice on avoiding plagiarism. And I'll talk a little bit more about those resources in a couple of slides. So next, I'm going to go over some academic campus resources. First, I want to emphasize, before even getting into these various resources, use your resources. These are all free to UC students and can help with a variety of different topics or issues, academic or otherwise. So these are some of the best academic campus resources at UC. I already talked about your academic advisor and what they can assist you with. The UC libraries are also a great resource for research support, borrowing materials or books. There are dozens of subject librarians who can help you find information on specialized subjects. Olga Hart, who works in the Langsam Library, is the librarian who works as an international student liaison, and she is a great resource to help you learn more about using the libraries on campus. The Learning Commons is kind of a hub of a ton of different academic resources on campus in one space. I have a few of the services that they offer listed here, but there's a lot more that they offer as well. They have peer tutoring if you need help in a specific subject. They also offer academic coaching, which is helpful for students who maybe don't need help in one particular subject, but need help just getting organized and learning to be more effective and efficient with their study time. The Learning Commons also houses the Academic Writing Center, which provides free writing assistance, and you can submit your papers for feedback or get help in the writing process. They host success skills workshops as well at the Learning Commons, which I will talk more about on the next slide. At UC, we also have various resources that give English language support, which I'll also go into more detail about. So these are some of the success skills workshops offered by the Learning Commons. These are free 1-hour workshop sessions about various topics. This is not a full list. These are just some examples of workshops that they offer. You can find the full list of sessions on the Learning Commons website. So if you just Google University of Cincinnati Learning Commons, you'll be able to find their website and find the full list of sessions that they offer. And they also should be putting up their fall schedule soon, so you can see when these sessions will be offered and you can register for them. So at UC, we also offer English language support. We have the Center for English as a Second Language, or CESL, and that is an academic unit housed within one of the colleges that provides ESL courses to international graduate and undergraduate UC students. So if you need English language help or want to enroll in a class to improve your skills, I highly recommend doing that. They also have an Intro to American College Culture course if you are interested in enrolling in that. Now, those are actual courses that you enroll in and you pay for the credits. But we also do offer a free opportunity in our ESL conversation group. That is a program through our UC International Services office. And we meet weekly on Thursdays. And it's just a casual environment to practice conversational English skills. It's led by an instructor who's a colleague of mine that is certified in teaching English as a foreign language. And there's different topics discussed each week. And there's also opportunity, if you're interested, to present on your home country. So this graphic here on the slide is from one of our sessions this summer. And the topic of conversation for that week was summer activities in Cincinnati. So on the next slide, I believe it is a video that the instructor of the ESL conversation group made just to kind of promote the group. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video for you. Okay, so that was just a fun little video. So the ESL conversation group is weekly on Thursdays from 5:45 to 7 p.m. It is transitioning back to being in person this fall after a couple of years of the group meeting virtually. So we're really excited for it to be happening in person again. And that is starting next week on August 25th. Again, it's a free opportunity to just practice conversational English skills in a casual space and discuss different topics each week. And it's a good opportunity to meet people at the university or community members. It is open to all UC students or community members who want to practice English. So, like I said, just really good way to meet people. And even if you maybe don't need to practice your English skills yourself, you could serve as a conversation partner to help other people improve their English. The QR code on this slide, I believe, links to the Facebook group that you can join and stay updated about when the session is and where they'll be meeting. So I also want to touch briefly on some other campus resources at UC besides the strictly academic resources, because there are outside factors that could be negatively affecting how you're doing academically, and it may not always be an issue of just needing academic support. Having a healthy mind, body, and overall wellness will also help you be successful in the classroom. So these are some additional resources at UC to support your physical, mental, and overall health. We have the counseling and psychological services, also known as CAPS. They offer mental health counseling, they do group therapy sessions, and they also do crisis intervention. There's also University Health Services, which is more the physical health side. So they do primary care, they give immunizations, they do like travel consultations. So if you want to see a doctor prior to traveling, you can make an appointment. There's also a pharmacy, and this is where you can get your prescriptions. The Student Wellness Center is a space on campus that is kind of focused on holistic wellness. So they provide alcohol education. They have sessions on financial wellness and building healthy relationships, and more than just kind of the mental health or physical health. They just really want to focus on your overall well-being. Campus recreation is kind of the workout facility on campus. They offer fitness classes. They have intramural sports. So if you're interested in joining a basketball or badminton or soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, they have all different intramural sports teams that you can join. And they also offer personal training. So if you want to work more one-on-one with a personal trainer to focus on your personal fitness goals, you can do that at campus recreation as well. So again, I want to reiterate, use your resources. These are resources that are free for all UC students. So take advantage of them while you're here. They are used daily by UC students, so it is completely normal and encouraged to use them. If you don't want to go to the Learning Commons alone, or it's kind of intimidating, or you want to check out one of the UC libraries but don't want to go by yourself, let me know. And if I'm available, I'll go with you. I just really want to encourage you to use these resources and take advantage of them, because there are so many great resources here on campus that are here to support you. So again, just please use your resources. I just really want to drive the point home. So the next slide, these are some upcoming events that our office is organizing in the coming weeks. So on Sunday, we have our soccer and snow cones event. That is from 11 to 1 p.m. at Sheakley Lawn. That is just a fun event to play soccer. There's kind of a like amateur soccer tournament that we do, and eat some snow cones. And then August 28th, there is the Scout Map scavenger hunt. The Scout Map is something that our iPals student leader group came up with, and it's just a map of places on campus that they thought worthy for students to be aware of and to check out. So outside of just kind of these resources I've been talking about, they also include different places to eat and things like that as well. So the Scout Map scavenger hunt will be again August 28th. And then September 9th to 10th, we have our new International Student Overnight Retreat. That is held at a retreat facility in Indiana. Transportation is provided in that as well. And that's just kind of a way to give some students kind of a typical overnight camp experience. So we are staying in cabins. It's not like pitching tents or anything like that, but it's just a fun opportunity to meet new people, spend some time outdoors. We'll be going kayaking on that Saturday. There's also free time for you to just kind of explore and enjoy the campsite, but there's also some intentional programming as well to get you more familiar with the university and with our office. There's also a bonfire and s'mores too. So really just getting that American camp experience. The link to register for that is in the newsletter that our office sends out every Tuesday. So you've probably received that this past Tuesday if you want to go back and register for that retreat. September 17th, our office is taking a group of students to Cincinnati's Oktoberfest, which is really fun. And then September 21st, we have a rock painting event, which is just a good way to kind of de-stress a few weeks into the semester. It's just kind of a casual, relaxing event to paint some rocks. So these are some presentations that are in the works for the fall semester that I'll be giving. So the first one, academic success at an American university, is what you are currently attending. And I'll also be collaborating with Olga Hart from UC Libraries on a workshop that goes more in depth about academic integrity and plagiarism prevention. I plan to offer a session on communicating with faculty and instructors as well. And that will cover things like writing professional emails or how to approach your professor with questions, etc. If there's any kind of academic related topic that you want to learn more about or that you think there should be a workshop on, let me know. I am here to support you in whatever ways you feel like you need. So I'm definitely open to suggestions and ideas. So if there's anything you want to see me do this semester that's academic related, a workshop or presentation, whatever that might look like, let me know. So this is how you can contact me. My office is in Edwards Center 1, Suite 7148. That is a kind of big square gray building across from the Kroger. It's where the UC International office is. So you can, drop in and see me. I'm only in the office a couple days a week and I work remotely a couple days a week. So scheduling a time in advance is definitely preferable if you want to come and meet with me in person. But you can also call me at 513-556-7290. That is my office phone. So again, I am not here every day. So if you call I might not be in the office that day. So the best method of communication with me will always be email, because I check my email, every day, and Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I can respond to those emails. So that is the best way to contact me. This is a photo of me on a trip that I took to India a few weeks ago. A few years ago, not weeks. So thank you all so much for attending this presentation. I hope you all learned something today, and I wish you the best for your first semester at UC. Please get in touch with me if there is anything at all that I can do to support you during your time here. So now it's time for the Q&A. So if anybody has any questions about anything that we covered or anything else academic related in US higher education, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. Remember, this is being recorded, so it is perfectly fine if you would rather post a question in the chat. I'll pull up the chat now and see if there were any questions that came in. Okay, I don't see any questions. Does anybody have anything they'd like to ask? Okay, well, if you think of any questions later, again, feel free to email me. I'll go back to that slide with my email. That's there. There's my email. So if you do think of any questions that come up, please feel free to reach out to me via email. So thank you everyone again for attending this session. As a reminder, this session will be posted on our UC International YouTube page. So if you want to watch it again later or have a friend who missed it but wants to watch it, you can search for the UC International page on YouTube, or you can reach out to me for the link once that is posted. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day and a great start to your first semester here at UC.